Our Chip Reid is at the White House. Chip, so how exactly would this system being proposed work?
Well, let's look at the system as it is today. About 1 million people a year come to the United States with green cards, meaning they can stay permanently. They're not citizens, they're somewhere in between, but they have a lot of rights and they can stay permanently. This legislation, the president said, they hope that will knock it down to about half that, about 500,000 a year. And a lot of those people who come here under what is under family ties, what is known as chain immigration. They say, well, I've got relatives in the United States, and that moves them up to the top or near the top of the list. This legislation would do away with that to a large degree. It would only apply to children, minor children, and spouses. They're the only ones who could get into the United States with a green card under this chain immigration system. Also, as the president you just heard, it would have a points system or a merit system. Instead of just being family-based, it would say if you speak English, if you have a degree, if you have a skill, if you've already got a job, if you have a good salary in a job you've already nailed down, and if you can afford your own health care, things like that. So they're trying to get people to come in who are not going to end up relying on the federal government and social programs to keep them going.
Well, immigration was obviously a major component of the president's campaign. Is this what he was promising?
This was one thing. I mean, don't forget, this only has to do with legal immigration.
Right.
Most of the president's list of things during the campaign had to do with stopping illegal immigration, but this certainly was one item on that checklist. And by the way, this also does not apply to temporary workers, agricultural workers. So this is just one area of immigration, legal immigration.
So it's called the RAISE Act, and it was crafted by the two conservative senators we saw with the president at the White House today. Do we know what kind of support, Chip, this will receive from other members of Congress and where it goes from here?
Well, this is a revised version of the bill that they introduced a few months ago, and they're hoping to get more support. But so far, they have very little support. Leadership on both sides leaders on both sides are pretty cool on it, and they would need, that old 60 votes to overcome a filibuster in the Senate, and Democrats are adamantly opposed to it. So at this point, its chances look pretty dim, but maybe they can convince people to get on board. That's what they're going to try to do during recess.
Okay, Chip Reid at the White House. Thanks, Chip.
You bet.